what I found is that your business grows when you are at a peak state. And that peak state is dependent on two things. It's a balance between being happy in the now and having a vision for the future. Okay? These two things. Now, depending on where you are with these two things, you could be in one of four different states of mind. Now, the first state of mind is a negative spiral. You are completely unhappy right now, and you have no vision of what you want your future to be. In other words, you are in a depression. Happiness, zero. Vision for the future, zero. The second state is called the current reality trap, where you are happy right now, but you have no vision for the future. Now, what this means is that you're happy, you're content with your current life, your current job, but you aren't growing. Tony Robbins said there are two spiritual needs of all human beings, and that is growth and contribution. When you're in the current reality trap, you're happy, but you aren't contributing to the world and you aren't growing yourself. And the problem with this is if you aren't growing, you're doing a disservice to your mission. Okay, so the current reality trap is not an ideal state of being, even though you are happy. But then there's another state. This is where you have great dreams, you have beautiful visions, but you are unhappy right now. And this is called stress and anxiety. This is where the vast majority of entrepreneurs lie. They have visions. They know they want to get their company to 3 or 4 or 10 million, but they are not happy right now because they aren't there yet. And some of them are highly stressed out and worried about this. Now, the ideal state, a state that some people call a state of flow, is where you're happy now, but you have a vision. Okay, so take a look at that graph. It sort of explains how it looks like. There's negative spiral, current reality, stress, and flow. Now, a lot of you here, because you are immersed in personal growth, a lot of you here might be in flow, but there's also a hell of a lot of you here who are at the stress level. There's probably very few of you here who are in current reality or negative spiral, because the reason you come to these events is because you have a vision for your future. But I bet more of you are at the stress level than at the flow level. And now I want to explain to you why flow is so important. Okay, so really, two ingredients. You've got to be happy right now, and you've got to have a vision for your future, a glorious, amazing vision. See, there's this concept called the paradox of intention. And it says this: you must have goals, but your happiness cannot be tied to these goals. In other words, you must be happy with the journey. You must be happy before you hit these goals, before you attain them. Now, when you're in this level, amazing things start happening in your life. You find that all manner of coincidences start emerging. Barriers that you are facing, glass ceilings, disappear. Things seem to move smoothly. Things seem to move almost magically. The right business partners, opportunities, people come into your life. We don't really understand why it works. Some people say it's neurological. Some people say it's the law of attraction. But I found that when I'm in this state of mind, magic happens in my life. Now, there's a recent book out by a guy called Marshall Goldsmith. It's called Mojo. And this is how Marshall Goldsmith described flow. Now, he calls it mojo, but he says it's a more elusive sense of personal advancement through the world. You're moving forward, making progress, achieving goals, clearing hurdles, passing the competition, and doing so with increasing ease. What you are doing matters, and you enjoy doing it. Sports people call it being in the zone. Others describe it under the umbrella term flow. This is what I want to teach you how to get at. Because to me, this state of mind is the single biggest secret to entrepreneurial success. Now, let's remember the movie The Secret? Lisa Nichols was in it. In The Secret, they have a formula for law of attraction. They call it thoughts plus emotion equal attraction. Now, let's break this down, right? Thoughts. These are your visions of the future. It's your thoughts of what you want in your life. Emotions, this is your feeling right now. The more joyful your emotions, the more ideal state you are. So again, if you look at the very same formula in The Secret, it's the same formula for flow. Vision plus happiness in the now is thoughts plus emotions. Does that make sense? Now, I met Richard Branson. And I remember when we were in Necker Island, me and Greg and a few other people, we were interviewing Branson. And there were two things he said that really appealed to me. One, he was asked, how are you able to run 300 different companies? And he said, well, you know, what I do is every morning I get up and I have a list. I start making lists of things I want to accomplish. Now, if you've actually seen read Branson's book, Business Laid Bare, in the front flap, there's an example of one of his lists. But it's not like our list. It's not like pick up milk on the way home. It's like find a way to make space travel affordable. Buy a new paradise island. Make $25 million in the mobile phone industry. It's a crazy list, but think about what Branson is doing. He's the epitome of an entrepreneur who's in flow, and Branson's list making is his way of creating his vision for the future. But now look at the second thing Branson said. He was asked, what is your biggest failure? And what were the times in your life when you just felt miserable? And this is what he said. He said, you know, I can't remember the bad times. I remember the good things only that happened in my life. Branson, if you notice, is perpetually happy. He has a vision for the future. He's perpetually happy. That is the formula for flow. Now, it's not just Branson who said that. A lot of other entrepreneurs, amazing entrepreneurs, have made such claims. Take a look at the following quote. It's actually a poem. I was early taught to work as well as play. My life has been one long happy holiday, full of work, full of play. I dropped the worry on the way, and God was good to me every day. What does it sound this guy is talking about? He's talking about work, but he's also talking about how work should be play. Now, can anyone take a guess who wrote that poem? It was written 100 years ago. Actually, about 110 years ago. Guess, anyone? It was written by this man, John D. Rockefeller, the richest man in the world at that time. He started Standard Oil. He was the oil tycoon, and he was the richest man on the entire planet. And he was not a well-liked man. A lot of people said he was unscrupulous, he was a dirty businessman. But again, look at how he viewed his life. Full of work, full of play, I dropped the worry on the way. That is flow. So I've been studying the lives of many, many, many entrepreneurs. I'm a big biography reader. And I find that the same pattern emerges over and over and over again. And so when I wanted to grow my business, I did not dive into marketing books or strategy books. I left that up to my operations guy, my marketing people. I dove into books on personal growth because I realized that it's my mindset that's going to move my business forward.